Have you ever felt like something inside you is just heavy? Like no matter how far you walk, you're still carrying something you can't put down, a mistake you can't forget, a moment you wish had gone differently, or a worry that follows you everywhere you go? If you've ever felt the weight of the past pressing on your heart, then this story is for you. Before we begin, take a deep breath. If you enjoy stories that bring peace, reflection, and calm, please consider giving this video a like, sharing it with someone who might need it tonight, and subscribing to P.A.T.H, People and Their Hearts. This channel is your home for short, motivational stories, timeless life lessons, and inspiring tales made especially for teens and young adults searching for direction, meaning, hope, and where every story starts with your heart. Now, let us begin. Once upon a time, in a land of rolling hills and quiet rivers, there lived a young traveler named Elias. Though he was strong of body and kind of heart, Elias carried something invisible that weighed more heavily than any sack of grain or bundle of wood. Wherever he went, he felt the weight pressing upon him, an unshakable burden of thoughts, regrets, and worries. From morning to night, he thought of mistakes he had made, of harsh words spoken in anger, of opportunities he had lost. He carried sorrow for his past and fear for his future. Though his back was straight and his steps sure, inside he felt bent and weary. Elias lived in a small village at the edge of a great forest. To his neighbors he seemed hard-working and reliable, but in the quiet hours, when no one was near, he sat with his head in his hands, longing for peace. One morning, Elias set out for the market in the next town. The path wound through fields of wheat and crossed a narrow stone bridge. As he walked, he noticed an old man sitting by the roadside, leaning on a wooden staff. The old man's hair was white as snow, his robe simple, his eyes bright despite the lines upon his face. He looked at Elias and asked softly, "Why does a strong young man walk as though the world is pressing on his shoulders?" Elias paused, surprised by the question. "Do I look so heavy?" he asked with a weak smile. The old man nodded. "You walk like one carrying a great burden, yet I see no pack upon your back. Tell me, what do you carry?" At first, Elias thought of denying it, but the kindness in the old man's eyes loosened his tongue. He sat down beside him and whispered, "I carry regrets for things I cannot change, and worries for things that have not yet come. They weigh me down more than any stone." The old man listened without interruption. When Elias had finished, he smiled gently and said, "And perhaps it is time you learned how to put them down." The old man rose with surprising strength and led Elias off the path toward the forest. They walked until they reached a clearing where a large leather sack lay upon the ground. "Take this sack," the old man instructed, "and fill it with stones from the riverbank." Puzzled, Elias did as he was told. He carried the sack to the river and began gathering stones, smooth and heavy. One by one, he dropped them into the sack until it was nearly full. When he returned, the old man tied the sack tightly and placed it upon Elias's shoulders. "Now walk with me," he said. The weight of the stones was crushing. Elias staggered under it as they walked through the forest. His breath grew ragged, his shoulders burned, his legs trembled. After only a short distance, he dropped the sack to the ground and gasped, "I cannot go further with this load." The old man's eyes twinkled. "And yet, young traveler, you have carried such a burden in your heart every day. At least these stones you can see and touch. Tell me, which is heavier, the sack on your shoulders or the regrets in your mind?" Elias looked at the bag of stones, then closed his eyes and felt the heaviness in his chest. "The ones I carry inside," he admitted. The old man sat upon a fallen log and gestured for Elias to sit beside him. "Open the sack," he said. Elias untied the leather straps and looked at the stones inside. "Now," the old man continued, "give each stone a name, one for every burden you carry." Hesitantly, Elias picked up the first stone. "This one is for the harsh words I spoke to my father before he died," he whispered. He placed it on the ground. The next stone he held tightly. "This one is for the friend I betrayed by breaking my promise." One by one, Elias named them all: mistakes in his work, missed chances for love, fears of failure, worries of poverty. Each stone became a memory, a regret, or a worry given shape. When the last stone was laid upon the ground, Elias sat trembling. The pile was large, and looking at it made his heart ache. The old man spoke softly. "You see, Elias, the burdens you carry are real, but they are not your flesh and bone. They are only stones, and stones can be set down." The old man rose and beckoned Elias to gather the stones once more, but this time not to place them in the sack. Instead, he instructed him to carry them to the river. Together they walked, Elias holding 2 stones at a time. At the riverbank, the old man said, "Cast them into the water. Watch what happens." Elias hesitated, but then threw the first stone. It splashed, sank, and disappeared beneath the current. One by one he cast them all away. Some made great splashes, some only small ripples, but each was swallowed by the flowing water. When the last stone was gone, Elias felt an unfamiliar lightness. He turned to the old man, eyes wide. "They are gone," he said. The old man nodded. "So too can you let go of the burdens in your mind. The river does not cling to the stone. It accepts, it carries, and it moves on. You must learn to do the same." That evening, as the sun dipped low, Elias walked back toward his village. His steps were lighter, though his body was no stronger than before. He no longer bent beneath invisible weight. On the way, he noticed the colors of the sunset, the laughter of children, the song of birds settling for the night. These were sounds and sights he had long ignored, for his mind had always been too heavy with thought. When he reached the old stone bridge, he paused and looked at the reflection of the sky in the water. For the first time in years, he smiled without forcing it. In the weeks that followed, Elias remembered the lesson of the stones. Whenever regret or worry returned, he imagined casting it into the river, watching it sink and be carried away. Slowly, he taught himself to live in the present moment. Villagers began to notice the change. He no longer sat alone with his head in his hands. He greeted his neighbors, laughed with children, and helped those in need. One day, a friend asked him, "Elias, what has changed in you? You seem so much lighter." Elias replied, "I learned that the burdens I carried were only stones, and I learned to let them go." And so Elias's life was transformed not by wealth or fortune, but by a simple wisdom, that peace does not come from clinging to the past or fearing the future. Peace comes when we learn to let go, to lay down the stones we have carried too long, and to walk forward unburdened. The old man's lesson became Elias's echo, and Elias shared it with all who would listen. Dear listener, perhaps you too carry stones unseen by others. Mistakes, regrets, fears, or sorrows. If so, remember Elias's story. You cannot erase the past nor control the future, but you can choose to put down the burdens that weigh you. Let the river carry them away. Breathe deeply and feel the lightness of a heart that has learned to let go. For peace is not found by holding tightly, but by releasing gently. And when you set your stones down, you may find, as Elias did, that the world is brighter, lighter, and more beautiful than you remembered. So walk forward, unburdened, with peace in your step. Sometimes all it takes is one small story to remind us how powerful the heart can be. Take what you've learned today, keep it close, and let it guide you toward kindness, courage, and hope. Thank you for watching Path, where every story starts with your heart. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next one. Thank you, and see you again.